Good morning, friends, and welcome back to my channel. I am currently about to head to the gym to do some cardio. It's my rest day, and I'm also moving. This is the current situation. Very sad. Very sad. I am officially moving back to Michigan today. I'm super excited. I'm heading right to Kalamazoo, and I actually have a meetup on Sunday that I'm hosting just at a small gym in Portage, so I'm really excited to meet some girls, have a good lift, and just kind of start out my new adventure in Michigan the right way. But I wanted to hop on and say hello and introduce you into this vlog that is going to be answering some questions that you guys had, as well as some tips on time management and prioritizing. What's up, guys? I just got my hair done. It's looking so good. I absolutely love the tones that are in it right now. I'm obsessed. But I'm heading home. I have to, whoa, I'm zooming in. I'm heading home and then I'm heading to Michigan. So super excited, and I cannot wait to talk at you guys later, but I had to show you this Dukes is looking so good. Okay. I am halfway through my drive. I just stopped to get gas, and I also got a sub. I just wanted to share with you guys what I got. So I get a foot long. I usually get it on flatbread, but I felt like getting some honey oat, so I got a honey oat foot long. I got lettuce on it, American cheese toasted, tomatoes, pickles, mustard, and then a splash of their Subway vinaigrette. Comes out to approximately 32 protein, 86 carbs, and about 14, obviously a buffer, 14 to kind of like 20 fats. So kind of just hitting that. I haven't ate a lot today because of traveling, so I got that. But here we go, guys. We're almost there, almost to Michigan. Good morning, everyone. It is now the 19th of November, and I'm about to head to Lyft. We're doing like a small meetup kind of randomly, but we'll see who comes. It's not gonna be like humongous by any means, but I just told people where I was gonna be at Lifton, and I wanna meet peeps. So we'll see how it goes. I'm wearing my bodybuilding.com sweatshirt. And it is currently snowing. So you can't really see it, but welcome back to Michigan, Des. I'm gonna hit this lift. I got legs. And then, like I've been saying the past like 8 clips, I promise we're gonna do the Q&A. Okay, your girl has just been kind of busy moving and being a little crazy. Alright guys, just finished up at the gym. Got a good leg workout in with Hayden. Helped by Hayden down here. If you don't follow her, go do it. Kalamazoo Pride. But I'm just finishing up here. Got 25-30 minutes of cardio, and I'm gonna head home. And finally, this is clip number 9 of me telling you that I'm gonna do my Q&A. I swear, it's coming. Wait on it. I'm just trying to tease you guys a little bit. I'll see you in the next clip, I promise. All right, friends, the time has finally come for me to do my question and answer. What? What? Oh my gosh. This is what I live with. So, as I've been promising for a couple days now, I am finally recording my question and answer. I'm gonna scroll back to my post that I had asked, and I'm just gonna run through a few and kind of just briefly answer so that you guys can get a little bit more about me and maybe whatever you asked, your questions are answered, okay? All right. What's your favorite sweet treat on prep? Definitely donuts. Do you ever take cheat meals? Yes, I do. Typically once a week. However, my calories have been so high, I really haven't had to take cheat meals because I fit everything in my macros. But yes, I usually do. What do you suggest for someone trying to get where they can be a sponsored athlete, or how do you get there? Definitely making sure that you're just constantly being yourself, but at the same time, you have to make sure that you are promoting yourself as a brand, because companies aren't going to invest in you if they're not going to get something out of you. So growing your following, creating great content, stuff like that is always going to aid you in companies reaching out. Are you still doing that show in a couple of weeks? No, I'm not. Because I was able to make top 5, I am no longer prepping because the show is the day before I fly out to Boise, and I also want to make sure next time I compete that I put my full heart into it. And with 4 weeks for a prep, I just knew that I couldn't. Why do you not incorporate many compound movements as a foundation of your training? Bench, squat, deadlift, etc. I do bench, I do squat, and I do deadlift. So actually that question was irrelevant because I do all three. I just don't go for strength in that category, so I would rather go for reps. Also, based on my personal biomechanics, I'm not that good with heavy squats because of my hips, and I'm not going to sacrifice my body and longevity of my joints for a 1 rep max. So there you go. Best dieting tips, favorite macro hacks, and current workout split. Best dieting tips are definitely eating just voluminous foods that are low in calorie that you can eat a lot of. So like your veggies, your big salads, and stuff like that. Favorite macro hacks are definitely just adding seasonings to things, sugar-free Jell-O, and stuff like that. And my current workout split, I work out 5 days a week. I have 3 leg days and 2 upper body days. How do you deal with days or a couple days when you miss the gym? I struggle with balancing grad school and the gym so much still. That is definitely hard. I think the best thing to do is just remember that each day is a new day. If you can make it there, awesome. If you can't, you're gonna be okay. Now, taking a few days off or being sporadic in the gym for a couple weeks isn't going to hinder all progress. So that's something to keep in mind, is that you're gonna be okay. It's just, I wouldn't even call it a setback. It's life. Life happens, and that is completely fine. What's your food advice for showing muscle tone? That's not really something that is going to come from food. That's going to come from caloric intake. So a caloric deficit is going to be less calories than you're expending, which would result in weight loss, and a caloric surplus would be more calories than you're expending, which would increase your weight. So there's really no special food to diet down. It's going to come down to calories. What are some good exercises for cardio burst training? So I would assume maybe you're talking about HIIT training, which would be high intensity interval training. Some great movements for that are anything like rope slams, mountain climbers, burpees, split lunges, jumping squats, anything like that where you're still getting muscle strength, but also doing it in a way where you're doing it till full fatigue. What's your favorite memory? One of my favorite memories would probably be, honestly, making top 20 for the bodybuilding.com search. That has like been my dream, and so that happening was like ridiculous. But I think other than that, it would just be kind of like family vacations, just events like that, like with my family, is always like holding dear to my heart. What's your favorite staple food? Definitely sweet potatoes or red potatoes. Any type of potato, I am a potato. What is your favorite muscle group to crush? I would probably say it's a toss-up between legs and shoulders, because I love the fact that I can finally activate my glutes and I get sore there and I know how to mind muscle connect with it, but also shoulders because I don't know, I love shoulder movements. What made you want to be in the fitness industry? I really was going to school for physical therapy, and then once I got to my end of my junior year in college, I just realized that I didn't want to help people rehab. I wanted to help them prehab. So that's kind of when I got into personal training and wanting to take that route. I also wanted to be an athletic trainer, so anywhere where I could help people before the disaster, so to speak. But ever since, I have been just sharing my journey and my competition history. I just grew this platform I never thought I would have, but by God's will, I'm able to use it. And so that's kind of how I got into the industry. What's the hardest obstacle you've had to overcome spiritually? I think definitely just growing up with divorced parents, as well as going through so many negative life events within like a span of 5 years. It was just a really, really tough time for me. I never let it affect me to the point where I was like in terrible depression or anything like that, but it was definitely a molding experience, because I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't have those things, but during that time I was wondering always why I was going through them. Could you talk about your job in corporate wellness, how you got the job, tips, etc.? So I actually don't work at Wendy's headquarters anymore. Friday was my last day. I absolutely love corporate wellness, and I will probably return at some point in my life, but right now I'm just focusing on my online business. Now, how I got into that job was simply just emailing. I got an internship there because I had like 2 weeks left to get an internship, and by the works of God, they had one student there before from Western. So that's kind of how I got into it. As for qualifications, you need a 4-year degree in exercise science, kinesiology, or biology, something in that major. And typically you also need to be certified by an accredited organization. So ACSM, NASM, stuff like that. Not any like small organization. It's kind of like a bigger deal than just that. How long have you been taking training seriously? Was fitness always a big part of your life, or something you had to incorporate / take time for? So that's a great question. I've been taking training seriously since last February. So February, March of 2016 was when I really started to train. Fitness was always a part of my life because I was an athlete. I played college volleyball. I had strength conditioning coaches. I ran track, like all of that together. I loved being active. However, I didn't love weightlifting until I got into college volleyball. When we had our strength and conditioning coach, I remember wanting to come in early for extra reps in different exercises so that I could get stronger, and that's kind of where my passion for it came. And then as I left volleyball, I was just like really into CrossFit, and so that's kind of where my love for pure weightlifting came. Favorite pre and post workout meals? My favorite pre-workout meal would probably be like a ground turkey bowl with like rice, potatoes, hot sauce, and cottage cheese. And my favorite post-workout meal, when possible, Chipotle all the time. So good. You cannot pass up a burrito bowl, you know? If you could eat one food the rest of your life, what would it be? Oh my gosh, I don't know. Maybe like, oh my gosh, I do not know. Because I used to be obsessed with mac and cheese, but now I would probably just say ice cream or like Halo Top. I'm obsessed. This is my first time bulking. What are your tips on the amount of time to bulk and best exercises to do for results? So bulking isn't gonna necessarily come from the exercise you're doing, it's gonna come from the food you're eating. So you could do the same reps for the most part. Like I've done the same reps since I've been in prep to now, but I'm eating more, so that's like bulking. Now I do have a few different strength portions, like 5x5s and sets of like 6 or 8. But for the most part, I'm still doing hypertrophy training. Other than that, my best recommendation or tip would just be to make sure that you're eating food. Like you can't be scared of gaining weight. It's gonna happen. You just have to take care of your body and listen to it. Oh, there's so many. Sorry, this video is longer. What was your starting weight and what are you at now? So my starting weight before like my body recomposition, I would say I was around 148, 150, and now I'm at around 130. So definitely a big difference, but I definitely hold my weight in different areas now, which is the amazing part of body recomposition. If you could tell your older / younger self one thing, what would it be? I would say there's gonna be hard times and there's gonna be easy times, and you can't base the rest of your life off the hard time, and you can't base the rest of your life off the easy times. Life catches you on a whim and just kills you sometimes. But the more that you're able to respond and decide to respond to a situation in a positive way, the easier it's gonna be to continue on. So I would definitely say that no matter the circumstances in life, just make sure that you're continuously giving it your all and never giving up, because it's right when you give up that often you're about to reach your destination. Just a few more, guys, sorry. How do you balance being a Christian and possibly being objectified sexually? For instance, your competition that you are participating in currently. Are you knowingly allowing men to view you in a sexual manner, or do you believe it is up to a man to view you in that way? I mean these questions in a non-offensive way, and I hope I do not come across that way, but it's something I think about. As you can tell, I believe a woman's mind is to be equal to her corporal form. Thank you. I don't know what corporal form means. It's definitely a fine line. I actually had a great podcast with Lacey Dunn about this. You can look up her podcast on iTunes. We talked about kind of being faith-based in the fitness industry and how that there is a line. Now, I am so proud of my body that God has given me to build that I would never be ashamed of that. And before I go making a post or anything like that, I always I step back and I think of how, as a Christian, do I feel okay adding this? if I ever feel iffy, like, I'll never post it. Just like when it comes to any type of back pose or like a butt picture of any sort, like just straight up like bending over or just half naked in a thong, I will never do that. That is totally not the place to put a picture online like that, and I would feel uncomfortable sharing that part of my body just like out in the open. So there is definitely a fine line. However, I never put myself out in a way to be sexual, and that's why I don't get men commenting on my pictures, because that's not the type of person I am, and that's not the type of pictures I put out for people to say stuff that is nasty. So I definitely think it's a fine line, but if it comes to your personal faith and opinion, you should have a gut feeling of like, like this is not okay to post, or like, oh, I feel fine posting this. Okay, last question. How did you and your boyfriend meet? How old were you guys? How long have you been together? And you should do a couples Q&A, LOL. So we actually have done a couples Q&A. It was like forever ago, but we met because he played football. He still plays football in college. I played volleyball, so we kind of met that way in the dorms. And I was 19 and he was 18. We've been together almost 3 years now. So he is now 21 and I'm almost 23, which is crazy. He's almost 22 as well, but he is 9 months younger than me, I believe. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe and hit the bell so you're always alerted when I post a new video. I will talk to you guys soon, and I will see you in the next video.